Aloha, my name is Trey Gordner. I'm a policy researcher at UHERO, and I'm pleased to be presenting today our 2026 Hawaii Housing Factbook. The first takeaway from the Factbook is that home prices have stabilized over the last couple of years. We had a large run-up in both single-family home prices and condo prices after the COVID pandemic, but since then, it's been mostly flat for the last 3 years. Notice, however, the widening gap between single-family homes and condominium prices. This is the result of a couple of factors. First, increased carrying costs for condominiums, including insurance premiums and HOA fees relative to single-family homes. But second, there's another story here about new supply. Hawaii has continued to build condos over the last few years, and many of those condos are funded through state and county programs that specify or restrict the price to a certain, to be affordable to a certain median income. On the renters side, renters have seen slow, steady, small increases in rents over the last few years. This is for rents in terms of asking rents, which we get from listings data, and also in terms of rents paid, which we see in the US Census data. And the combination of steady prices, falling interest rates, and modestly rising incomes has produced modest increases in affordability. So the way to read this chart is, back in 2023, it took almost 2 typical families to afford the typical single-family home. As you can see, that's been consistently falling in the last couple of years. If you look at it a different way in this chart as the percentage of families that can afford the typical home or rental, you'll see a notable gain in condominium prices especially. And the only important note here is that while we do see affordability improving, this is specifically related to the mortgage costs, the principal and interest. So you wouldn't see increases in utilities, insurance, or HOA fees in this view. In 2024, for the first time, the US Census asked homeowners about mandatory fees related to home ownership. And in doing that, we learned for the first time that Hawaii is near the top on HOA fees. So about 25% of households across the country, homeowners across the country, have an HOA fee. In Hawaii, that's 42%. So many more have those fees, and those fees are higher. In Hawaii, about $470 a month is typical, although it's important to note that that varies a great deal by county. So homeowners on Big Island pay little more than what's typical nationally at about $135 a month. In addition to statewide statistics, county-level statistics, we also analyze upcoming or emerging trends in housing in the Factbook. One of the biggest trends of the last couple of years has been rising insurance costs. Insurance is one of the fastest growing components of costs, homeowner costs, housing costs, not just in Hawaii, but nationwide. So you'll see here in this data from the Hawaii Insurance Commissioner that it's not only Hawaii where prices are rising, and notably, this isn't only a story about recent disasters like the Maui wildfires. The Hawaii market has been rising faster than the US market since 2019. We also, in the Factbook, look at state and local policy changes, those recently adopted and those being considered. The big story this past year was the adoption of Bill 9 in Maui County, and this proposal phased out 7,000 short-term rentals in apartment districts. That's about half of all of the short-term rentals on Maui, and if they all switched to long-term use, it would be a one-time increase of 13% in the housing stock on Maui. In 2024, UHERO released an analysis projecting that with the passage of the bill, over the next few years, condo prices would fall on Maui between 25 and 40%. And we can see from this past year of condo prices, the change since 2023, that some of that is already being priced into Maui's market. So Condo prices on Maui have fallen about 2.5 times as quickly as elsewhere in the state, and much of that is concentrated in the properties directly affected by this proposal, also known as the Minatoya list properties. Meanwhile, in Honolulu, they're considering changes to the Bill 7 program, which was a program passed back in 2019 to build affordable rentals in walkable neighborhoods on small lots. That program has produced 189 units constructed to date, with another 550 approved and under construction. And the vast majority of these are concentrated in the urban core, in areas convenient to jobs and transportation. However, in the last couple of years in particular, Bill 7 applications have leveled off and have fallen further and further away from the policy goal of 500 units constructed per year, making it a good time to reconsider the rules and incentives around this program. There's more to read in the 2026 Housing Factbook. We have county and zip code level housing trends, more policy updates at the city and state level, including your favorite topic, permitting and permitting delays. You can read the full report at UHERO.hawaii.edu. Mahalo.